and welcome to Match of the Day for two Canon League First Division matches, a brief look at Millwall's progress and the result of the Goal of the Month competition. First, it's the favourites for the title, Tottenham Hotspur at Luton.
And that was Priest, and Nicholas with the drivers hit the bar.
Then the holders of the title, Liverpool, at up and keep on coming, Sheffield Wednesday.
Nickel, Miles didn't clear when he should have. Dalglish.
And a flash of action from Cold Blow Lane, home of Millwall, stylish these days and looking for a second division place.
England striker Tony Woodcock walked out of Arsenal half an hour before today's 2-1 win over Coventry after being told that he was dropped from the team, along with Charlie Nicholas, who was relegated to sub. Manager Don Howe said tonight they've not been consistent enough. Woodcock was disappointed, but now we'll see what he's made of. Everton lead the championship race by 4 clear points, but Southampton's 4-0 win at Queen's Park Rangers was perhaps the best result of the day.
Well, let's start the action at Luton. Heavy spenders recently in an effort to stay in Division 1, while visitors Tottenham Hotspur have never been frightened to loosen the purse strings in an effort to win it. Your commentator is John Motson.
Peter Nicholas makes his first appearance for Luton, who believe he could be the ball winner they've needed in midfield since the departure of Brian Horton. The arrival of Nicholas from Crystal Palace means Luton have spent over £500,000 on new players in the last 2 months. He joins Steve Foster, Mick Harford and David Priest in a rebuilt side which sees the return today of the exciting Mecca Nwajobi, giving us 2 Nigerian wingers on the field, because John Chidozie, who is in their World Cup squad, fills a similar position on the right for Spurs. Well, they have Gary Stevens in the back 4 in place of the injured Paul Miller, and that switch means Gary Mabbott starts the match in midfield alongside Glenn Hoddle, who has recovered from the kick in the kidneys he received at Liverpool last Sunday. Referee this afternoon is Neil Midgley from Salford, who was in charge of the Wimbledon Cup tie in midweek. As we return to league business, both managers conscious that these two teams could present a contrast in styles to some of the very powerful cup football we've been seeing recently. Here's Nwajobi for Luton, who are wearing white and playing from the right in the first half. Spurs in a change strip of pale blue on a ground where they won 4-2 in exciting fashion last season. Indeed, they beat Luton 4-2 at White Hart Lane earlier this season as well. Donaghy with the tackle. Roberts. Back again to Mabbott. Into Hoddle. Trying to find Galvin. Breaker is the defender. Mick Harford. Falco, though, to Crooks. Hoddle. Ricky Hill. Steams off through the centre. Offside. He's offside. It won't count. Now, an interesting point about that. It might have been Steen, but it might have been Harford who the linesman flagged against. Because when Ricky Hill played the through ball, the 2 men ahead of him were just fringing the Tottenham defence, and one or other was flagged offside. Steen put the ball in the net to no avail. Chidozie. He's got Priest to beat as well as Thomas. This is Perryman. And he's taken them both on, Chidozie, and then made a real mess of it. He promises so much at times and can't always achieve it. But he certainly took 2 Luton players out of the game there with the burst of speed and then completely topped his shot. Harford's header. Steen. Now Joby's gone into the middle, and Steen, oh, Graham Roberts. Classic obstruction, if there is such a thing as classic obstruction. It's a contradiction in terms, but it's the most blatant form of offence when a player's gone past one opponent and looks like going past another. And I would imagine there, Roberts lucky not to get booked. Steen and Priest around the ball. And that was Priest, and Nicholas with the drive has hit the bar. What a start it would have been in his debut match for Luton, for Peter Nicholas. The free kick pushed square, and he hammered it. It beat Clements, crashed against the crossbar. But the corner suggests that it got a touch. Joby. And he took the ball out. Off Foster's head, and Donaghy saved the day there as Crooks closed in. Good cover, one centre-back behind the other. Hill. Priest is out on the left, and there are three to his right. Nicholas. Onside, Steen. Real chance for Luton. Harford's unmarked in the middle. Oh, dear me. What a marvellous opportunity. And Steen did neither one thing nor the other. He was clean through, the angle not great, but Harford in the middle was waiting for a tap-in. And Steen scooped the ball over the bar. Will Luton have a better chance than that of taking the lead against the side pushing for the championship? Priest. Harford. Nicholas. Priest now with four players waiting in the centre for the cross. Ricky Hill. Quite the power there to beat Clements. But it was a good break by David Priest, and Luton have had the better of the first half, there's no doubt about that. And at half-time, Spurs might feel fairly happy to be on terms, because the man who's caused them serious concern is Brian Steen. He threatened to go clean through when he was blocked, leading to the Nicholas free kick. He missed a great chance to square the ball to Harford for a certain goal. But at half-time, Luton have got nothing to show for 45 minutes in which they've been the more threatening side. Luton fans with a sense of humour welcoming their new signing Peter Nicholas to Kenilworth Road and comparing him to Charlie of Arsenal. And behind the goal here, the Tottenham supporters again swelling the Kenilworth Road crowd towards the season's best for the third year in succession. Spurs with this fine away record in the Championship this season, 7 wins and 2 draws in 13 matches on opposing grounds. And they haven't lost to Luton since their opponents returned to the First Division. This is the 6th meeting in that period. So Luton battling against the form book here. Here's Priest to Harford. Nicholas. It's a very different Luton side now that David Pleat has made his 4 recent signings. Hoddle. Hill. He needs support here. Foul by Maddox. This is Priest. And Foster's in there. Harford is trying to readjust his position. Joby and Steen! Brian Steen gets the goal. He came so close to earlier. Harper couldn't reach the cross, but Nwajobi did, drove it, and Steen stuck out a foot, and that's a typical striker's goal. Poached out of nothing, and Luton are in the lead. 4 minutes after half-time, and the Nigerian Meka Nwajobi plays a part. The Luton fans delight perhaps by the fact that Steve Foster has had to receive attention before they can kick off again, but they're pleased to see him back on his feet. And Spurs can't really complain about being behind. Nabbott looking for Crooks. Falco causing Foster's a back pedal. This is Steen. Nwajobi. Nabbott came in behind him, claims he played the ball, but the free kick's been given. Well, David Pleat's gamble, because that's what it was in playing Nwajobi this afternoon, appears to be paying off now. After a slow start, he figured in the goal. Good touch by Mick Harper. Nwajobi. And he's gone past Roberts, and he's gone past Houghton, and he's hit the side netting. Absolutely unpredictable is how David Pleat describes this former amateur from Dulwich Hamlet. Maybe the Luton forwards would have appreciated a cross at the end, but he was on a high when he'd gone past two of them and tried the shot instead. This is Chidozie for Spurs from Foster's header out. Perryman's trying to get up to support. Decent cross, Crooks! Crooks again! Galvin, pushed by Nicholas, was it? No. Seeley made a fine save the first time from Crooks, instinctive. And Luton are breaking from that position. Well, you'd have backed Garth Crooks there at point-blank range. 15 goals in 20 games this season. It was an invitation for him to equalise. But Seeley, who's playing his 11th consecutive game this afternoon after coming in for Dibble when he was injured, is beginning to look like his old self in goal, and that could prove a crucial save for Luton. Peter Shreeves decides the time is right to make a switch, and Mick Hazard is coming on in Chidozie's place. And there's going to be a Luton substitution now, and the applause will be for the man coming off, who is David Priest. And he's been replaced by Ray Daniel. Huddle's mistake. This is Nicholas. Hill. Steen, is he onside? He is, yes. There are two in the centre for Luton. One of them is Harford here, and Roberts was the player who saved it. Steen's cross, Harford's header to Clemence's right, and Roberts standing in the right place. Turned in nicely for Crooks. Oh, Seeley saved it with his left foot. That's twice he's thwarted Crooks in this second half. Seeley has come for it. Falco got a touch, and the goalkeeper got let off. Spurs have the corner. Daniel would have been an own goal. The Luton sub sliced it horribly and alarmingly close to his own goalpost. Are Tottenham going to snatch the equaliser here? Roberts at the back, three to meet him. And he went down under challenge from Foster after the ball had gone and words had been exchanged. Hazard into Perryman. And Nabbit in space. Foster, Falco! Goal! Falco for Spurs! Well, we talked about a striker's goal from Steen. That instant effort from Falco, similar in many ways, had no time to think about it, just struck it right in the corner. Falco scoring his 21st goal of the season. And has it saved a precious point, or could Spurs do even better? He's having a fine season, Mark Falco. Steen for Luton. Taking on Roberts. Nuajobi! It's there! The referee is pointing to the centre and the shot went in. Nuajobi may have won the match for Luton in quite spectacular style. Steen made the running down the right, but when the ball ran loose in the centre, Nuajobi saw his chance, and that hit the back stanchion and came out so fast, the fans had to look twice to make sure it was a goal. But it is, and Luton are back in front, and the Nigerian who made the first goal has scored the second, and relegation-haunted Luton may have got the 3 points after all. Away by Roberts, and Spurs, having got a reprieve, are right back in the dock. Thanks to Nuajobi. Well, what a last 5 or 6 minutes we've had here, and it's not over yet. Tottenham pile forward again, looking for the second equaliser. Roberts up, but he was surely climbing. Steen. Gary Stevens for Spurs. Calvin. Breaker all the way down with him, throw in, hit the flag and came back this side. So a storming finish to this match, on which so much depends at both ends of the table. The 90 minutes are up, but it's not over. Roberts! Yes! 2-2! Graham Roberts for Spurs. Just going into stoppage time. From the throw-in, Luton never got the ball away. They left Roberts free on the far side of the area, and his shot was low and true. Amazing stuff. Doesn't the Cannon League turn up some terrific games for the spectator? This now is one of them. 3 goals in the last 5 minutes. And once again, it looks as though there could be 1 point apiece, but Luton haven't finished yet. Steen. Harford. It's Steen again! Oh, he could have won it! Good sportsmanship by Brian Steen, because Roberts' challenge actually put him off as he was about to shoot. But there's a look of bewilderment on the faces of the players, never mind the crowd. So much has happened in the last 5 minutes. The match seems destined to go its own way, never mind who influences it. And it's 2-2. And it ends 2-2. When with just 5 minutes to go, Luton led 1-0. And then, having been pulled back, Nwajobi put them 2-1 up and thought he'd got the winner in quite spectacular fashion. Who else but Graham Roberts, one of the great characters of the Tottenham team, who never ever gives up, could have come back again to save a point for his side, which could prove so valuable in the championship chase. But for the uncommitted, a rousing afternoon at Kenilworth Road, and in a way we half expected it, because when Luton meets Spurs, there's a style and quality and excitement about the match that guarantees entertainment, and that's certainly what we got.
Well, there's no doubt that John Motson enjoyed himself tremendously this afternoon, although both teams might be cursing themselves for allowing maximum points, sorely needed for different reasons, to slip away. Luton might have most regret, and particularly a maker, Nwajobi, a most exciting player who thought he'd nailed Spurs twice. He's got pace and loves a dribble, picking up from the most useful head of Harford. He's refreshingly confident enough to take on 2 opponents, or more if necessary, expecting good things to happen, and when they did, had the strength and almost the style to round it off. But he's quite happy to quicken things up when necessary, as he proved when making Luton's first goal. You'll see he cracks Houghton's acrobatic but weak clearance back immediately to maintain the pace and provide Steen with a golden chance. It was a first-time shot too that gave Luton the lead near the end. As Daniel prods the ball forward, searching for a space to shoot, he pounces, alert and accurate, rattling the ball home without waiting for Daniel's permission. Well, next it's Sheffield Wednesday and Liverpool, and first my thanks to Wednesday and Chelsea too for providing one of the most exciting matches I've seen for years last Wednesday evening. Not easy to follow it except with the visit of the current champions Liverpool, attracting an enormous and enthusiastic crowd this afternoon. Among them, Barry Davis.
Here's the man who last Wednesday kept his head when all about him were losing theirs. Mel Sterland saved his team's face from the penalty spot against Chelsea, and now an unchanged side can give answer to just how much almost losing from a position of 3-0 up has shaken their faith. The test couldn't be a better one, and neither could the atmosphere. For the biggest crowd of the season has been drawn to Hillsborough for the visit of the reigning champions. And the knowing in football still refuse to write off Liverpool's challenge. And indeed, since Kevin McDonald was introduced into the team, they've won 4 games and drawn 1 in Cup and League. And there's just one change in their team compared with that which beat Spurs in the Cup last Sunday. The return of Mark Lawrenson at number 4 instead of Gary Gillespie. The referee is Jeff Bray from Hinckley. Looking back on last Wednesday's match, one is entitled to ask, how do you follow that? But certainly the 2 teams will be trying to, and Sheffield Wednesday looking for their first double over Liverpool since season 34-35. Neil. Ian Rush loses out to Nigel Worthington. Free kick given against Shirtliff. the furthest to the left. Kennedy, who made the first run. Taken by Dalglish. There's John Walk! Well, I suppose one has to say a typical piece of play by John Walk. Well, the finish was not quite what he wanted, or indeed quite typical, but certainly got there unnoticed, it seemed. Offside decision given yet again. And I must say, if there are spies here from Manchester United, Spurs, Everton, or one or two others, I have no reason to fear this sort of challenge from these two contenders. Sheffield Wednesday perhaps reacting a little bit. This is their fourth match in 8 days. And it's a goal kick. Got through. Dalglish to rush. Oh dear, and it bobbled just at the wrong moment. Dalglish who played him through. And really, the error was by Laurie Madden, but one would have backed Ian Rush to complete the movement. He'd gone wide, as he's quite prepared to do. There was room to slot the ball in, but it bubbled just as he made contact, and away it went. Wednesday throw. Two waiting. Didn't mean those two, I meant two Wednesday players who were in the area. Marwoods. Shelton! That bisected the 6-yard box and was about a yard wide of the far post. Marwood did very well. It was quite tight on the line. It crossed instantly, and Shelton wide with the drive. Two home games here have produced 14 goals. The last match against Chelsea in the Milk Cup, enough memories to last the season. I don't think the crowd will be too troubled in remembering what happened in that first half. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Liverpool 0. Well, we're very much under the moon in this match so far, but it will be interesting to see what effect the strong wind now has on Sheffield Wednesday. It's blowing from their backs as they attack the goal to our right. And here's Sterland. Kennedy gave him a chance and then took it away and gets the free kick. Liverpool have had a quiet week. They've not had to play since Sunday, but Wednesday it was so much football at the moment. Big week coming up as well. Got to go to Chelsea again in the Milk Cup, and then they're away to Tottenham in the Cannon League. Kennedy. Lions. Free kick against Shirtliff. Chapman. Chase, this time for Marwood and Hansen. Playing this way, Wednesday were on top last Wednesday. Grovelar with the punch. intended back pass. Say Alan Hansen's been having a fine season, but really has not looked comfortable on a number of occasions this afternoon. The same could be said of Lawrenson, although not quite as often. Don't like the windy conditions, Liverpool. Chapman's header, Marwood's goal. Wednesday had the lead in the 57th minute. Marwood's 9th of the season, nothing that Bruce Grobbelaar could do about it. And the goal coming as a result of an awful back pass by Alan Hansen, which produced the corner. Hansen with reason to look dejected. Nicol to Neil. More controlled attack, and Sheffield Wednesday not controlled in defence. Dalglish, John Walk. Didn't fall too kindly for him. But it was the best attack that we've seen from Liverpool. Much more concerted, controlled. And Sheffield Wednesday looking for the offside were caught out. Kick against Chapman. The challenge on Kennedy. I think it's simply a question of trying to judge the ball in the air. And Liverpool preparing to make their substitution. It's John Walk who comes off, and he's replaced by Paul Walsh. Gets into the action immediately with a good header. Dalglish again. Very much the conductor all of a sudden. Neil. Shelton has to get up rather quickly. Nicol. Mans didn't clear when he should have. Dalglish. Scraped the crossbar. But he started that attack and was so close to finishing it. Much more noise from Liverpool supporters now. Here's Marwood. Little jink inside enabled Bruce Grobbelaar to get the angles all right. And Marwood is down injured. Blair. Rush. Offside. I'm not sure that it was against Nicol, I think against another player a little nearer us. Fair amount of tic-tacking going on from the Sheffield Wednesday bench. The man whose goal divides the teams, Brian Marwood. As Gavin Oliver comes on with 7 minutes remaining. Marwood, the scorer, limps off, but he could well have done enough to decide the spoils here. Clear push by Worthington. Nicol keen to get on with it. Rather surprisingly. 5 players to the left of the penalty spot. Near side as we look. Dalglish to take. And Walsh didn't, but coming at the back in the 85th minute was Mark Lawrenson, and Liverpool have saved the day. Inquest going on among the Sheffield Wednesday defenders as Liverpool supporters celebrate. Five minutes left, 1-1 the score. And Mark Lawrenson's first goal in the league since November 1982 could prove so vital. Curiously, when he scored then, it was one of 5 against Everton, whose challenge Liverpool are now trying to resist, among others. Good substitution, the introduction of Paul Walsh. Liverpool have looked a lot better with him forward and Dalglish in midfield. We're in the last minute. And surely there was enough drama in the last minute on Wednesday night. There's not to be a repeat on Saturday afternoon. But who knows? Here's Nicol. That's a marvellous ball. Maybe he was a little hurried. Ronnie Whelan, who played him through, he didn't really give himself too good an angle, for which due credit to Martin Hodge. Rush. Referee has a first check of the watch, and only one is needed, and it ends at 1-1. Liverpool coming back and really playing their best football after the substitution, and a disappointing end, not for those supporters but for the majority in a crowd of no fewer than 48,246. So more than 100,000 people have watched Sheffield Wednesday this week, but they thought they had the first double over Liverpool since 1934, but they were denied 5 minutes from time by Mark Lawrenson, his goal wiping out the earlier one by Brian Marwood. 1-1 the final score.
Well, the pride at stake and a high win prevented that from being a classic game, but there was enough incident and atmosphere to keep the crowd on its toes, and isn't it good to see those terraces so full again with fans relishing Wednesday's success. And by the way, Brian Marwood's injury was a kick in the back which has affected the sciatic nerve in one leg, and that makes him doubtful for the Milk Cup quarter-final replay against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge next Wednesday. Tony.
Tony Woodcock's walkout from Arsenal after being dropped from the team that beat Coventry 2-1 today will require a Monday morning explanation to manager Don Howe. Ironically, Arsenal's goals were scored by Raphael Meade and Ian Allinson, the two players who replaced Woodcock and Charlie Nicholas, who was relegated to the role of last half-hour sub. Don Howe said the demotion of Woodcock and Nicholas had built up over a period of time and wasn't a reaction to last week's FA Cup defeat by York City. The England captain Brian Robson still hasn't ruled himself out of England's World Cup match in Northern Ireland at the end of the month. Robson resumes training on Monday after a dislocated shoulder and is aiming to be back in Manchester United's team for the game at Arsenal in 3 weeks' time. Well, back in the league today, Gary Stevens scored the first 2 Everton goals as they beat Watford 4-0 at Goodison to move 4 points clear of Tottenham at the top of Division 1. Gordon Strachan got both Manchester United goals as their 2-0 defeat of West Brom kept them in 3rd place. Sheffield Wednesday's draw with Liverpool dropped them below Arsenal and Southampton, who enjoyed a remarkable 4-0 win at Loftus Road, inflicting the biggest home defeat on Queen's Park Rangers since they installed that artificial pitch. Sunderland were the only winners today among the clubs at the bottom of Division 1 and now climb above neighbours Newcastle as a result of that 1-0 defeat of Stoke. Newcastle and Luton both drew. Oxford United are back on top of Division 2 after winning 1-0 at Carlisle, but only on goal difference, with 4 clubs sharing 49 points. This morning's leaders Blackburn drew 1-1 at Wimbledon. Manchester City and Birmingham both won away, but just look at the games in hand that Oxford have. Half a dozen clubs are still chasing the promotion places in Division 3, among them one from the less fashionable side of London, but a club with an unforgettable address. By name and reputation, Coldblow Lane Millwall is a football outpost overdue for the wind of change. A tight little ground sandwiched by East End terraces that 2 years ago faced relegation to Division 4, with some of its supporters feared as the game's barbarians. Millwall needed a steadying hand, and it came under the managership of George Graham, who'd strolled through his own playing career at the citadels of Arsenal and Manchester United. With millionaire chairman Alan Thorne and talk of superstore redevelopment, George now has a Millwall team chasing promotion to Division 2, looking forward to Monday's 4th round FA Cup tie with Chelsea and aiming for a place in football's sunlight where he used to play.
Armstrong to take the corner. It's a good header, it's there, Graham!
I do miss the big time, the big grounds, and that's why on Monday evening when we go to Stamford Bridge again, it'll bring back a lot of memories. But I'll be more pleased for the players. My lads, you know, they're used to sort of playing at small grounds all over the country, and for them to go to Stamford Bridge and a great crowd with lots of atmosphere, I'll be more pleased for them really than myself.
What exactly are you trying to do here?
Well, really, I'm trying to revive Millwall because I think potentially, I think they're definitely a second division club. And my first priority is to get them out of this 3rd division. We've been here 2 years now, and after taking over, we were facing the 4th division, and now we're in the promotion hunt. We've slipped off late recently, but I think we're capable of going up if we can put a run together. So that if I can get in the 2nd division, and then we can look at the situation again.
A legacy of misbehaviour by a few fans once made Millwall more famous for trouble than football.
And unfortunately, the sad face of football in the 70s appears to be recurring again. And John Gow, the referee, talking to the police, and it may well be he'll have to do what Colin Seal did at Leeds and take the players off the pitch.
Yes, I didn't really realise when I first came the bad reputation the club had throughout the country. And this is something I've been working hard on, both with the chairman and with the staff at the club. The players now are now getting a degree of discipline about themselves within the club. So now I want to take it onto the terraces. And the few supporters we have, and we only have got a few, who I think are disruptive, if we can sort of get rid of them and keep the 99% fans here, who are mainly very, very good, I'll be very pleased.
Fans are as good as gold down here. You get loyal supporters down here, not 1 week, miss a month.
I see you've brought a little one with you down here.
My boy.
Yeah, you don't mind bringing youngsters here then?
He's good as gold, of course they're all right.
There is only an image. I've been coming down here week after week for 37 years, and I can remember when there was a little bit of hooliganism, but it's not general. It's a good club.
Hull City awarded Millwall this silver salver for having the best supporters in Division 3 last season. And a further sign of changing times is the new club outfits of blazers and slacks bought for £2,500 by a generous supporter. Millwall's home form overshadows some disappointing away results, and today's visitors to Coldblow Lane were Newport, who'd had a player sent off when Millwall opened the scoring early in the second half. Defender David Cusack getting the goal. Millwall have lost only 7 of 60 home games under Graham's management, And 15 minutes from the end, another free kick wrapped up a 2-0 win. Once again, the man on the end of it, David Cusack. That win keeps Millwall in the top 6, but now just 2 points behind the promotion places after Hull lost 4-2 at Reading and Gillingham were held to a 1-1 draw at home by Swansea. But the runaway leaders there are still Bradford City, who beat Orient 4-1 and are now 10 points clear. The clash of the top 2 teams in Division 4 saw Bury win 1-0 at Chesterfield to go 3 points clear. Blackpool move above Hereford into 3rd place after a goalless draw at Chester. The dividend forecast on the pools is fair, with telephone claims required for 24 points. The 10 score draws are numbered 4, 5, 9, 11, 19, 21, 29, 37, 46 and 49. The top 4 teams in the Scottish Premier Division all won today, with Aberdeen maintaining their 8-point lead over Celtic as a result of this victory at Dumbarton.
It goes, it's there this time, yes. Billy Stark.
Well, no challenge from any Aberdeen player, which is rather strange. Got up by McKinney, can't bring it down well though. Recovers, and there's Willie Miller in the outside right position. Let's see what his cross is right. That's not bad at all. Black! Oh, superbly in.
Well, now it's time for the result of the January Goal of the Month competition. The correct order chosen by our panel was EGD. The winning goal scored by David Phillips for Manchester City against Wimbledon. First correct postcard pulled out of the sack with the chosen order was sent in by Mr. Philip Jordan of Shirley near Solihull. And there's £100 of premium bonds on their way to you, Mr. Jordan. Well done.